Tina said, I wanted to come in here and share that I did the winter session of Erin's Reboot, and it's been pretty epically life-changing for me. I was so skeptical when I did it, and I followed it, but I still wasn't a true believer until the circadian rhythm lesson when something just clicked for me. Since then, I've lost a few pounds and gone down a size in clothes, a big switch from the usual up a size every year for the last few years. I'm never hangry, I eat amazing food, I feel stronger, and I'm sleeping with like 3 exclamation points. This morning I had an epic breakfast when I got hungry, which wasn't until 11 a.m., of grilled chicken, a beautiful salad, a huge roasted yam, a whole avocado, and a bunch of blueberries, and just felt overwhelmed with gratitude that I'm not choking down some lame smoothie or yogurt bowl and not getting any results from my misery. So I decided I should post here. I would have never had the confidence to accept that fat loss could be this simple, but not easy, without Erin's Eat Simple rules. So thank you. And thank you, Tina. This is awesome. What I love about this is that this sounds sustainable to me. Let me just reiterate that breakfast to you. Grilled chicken, a beautiful salad, a huge roasted yam, a whole avocado, and a bunch of blueberries. I mean, talk about eating the rainbow, first of all. That sounds like a beautiful plate of food. It's a robust meal of food. She says, I'm not choking down some lame smoothie or yogurt bowl and not getting any results for that misery. So imagine eating beautiful food, robustly nourishing yourself, and going down a pant size. She's gone down a size in clothes since February. It's now July, okay? March, April, May, June, July. Let's say it's 5. Let's say it's even 6 months. Let's say it's 5, 6 months. Eating meals like that, Tina has gone down 1 pant size eating meals like that instead of lame smoothies and yogurt bowls. So she's eating beautiful food, and she's gone down a pant size in 6 months. She says she's lost a few pounds and gone down a pant size. Lost a few pounds, cool, nice, whatever, good, probably good. But the pant size, that's what you actually want. You actually want your clothes to fit better. You want your body shape and size to change. You want to look in the mirror and like what you see. You want to look at the photograph and feel confident in the photograph. That's body composition. That's size, not weight. So first of all, we're celebrating the pant size. I care about that a lot more than scale weight, myself personally. 1 pant size in 6 months, you might think that sounds slow. I know people think that sounds slow because I am on the phone with people who are applying to work in my 6-month mentorship, and I'll say, I feel confident I can get 1 to 2 pant sizes down in 6 months. And they'll say, what? That's so slow. And it's like, to Tina's point, from Tina's mouth to your ears, this is a big switch from the usual up a size every year for the last few years. I can't stop saying this, but we're all gaining weight year over year. And you might think it's from COVID, you might think it's from menopause, and who knows what it's from, but you're going in the opposite direction. So if we could get that stopped and reverse it down 1 pant size in 6 months, that's way faster than whatever else you were doing before. Probably way faster than a lot of your friends and peers too. And this is the point of today's talk. This must feel sustainable. So the meals have to feel enjoyable. Tina expressed enjoying this meal as opposed to some lame yogurty thing she could have had that has X number of grams of protein. But yogurt's nice, but it's not that good. It's just not, it's nice, but it's not that amazing. It's not as amazing as grilled chicken with a yam and a blueberry. Just like, give me a break. Like, there's no question which one of those meals is better, yummier, more satisfying, right? I talk a lot about satiety in my weight loss program. Satiety is one of the big levers we must pull in order to get this metabolic rhythm going. The hormone insulin is waiting for you. It's queuing up hunger in a manner of speaking, and then you got to give back satiety. And then this is sort of the handshake of metabolism. There's a lot at play here, including the circadian rhythm piece, which Tina also mentioned. I talk a lot about satiety. I want you to eat robust meals to satiety. A meal like the one Tina described. Eat that to satiety. It's just real hard to eat yogurt to satiety. I'm just saying, you need to eat a lot of yogurt. And I would worry that you'd have digestive upset eating that much dairy to a true robust satiety point. Okay, so have a beautiful mixed meal of amazing food that tastes yummy. Eat it to satiety. But the other piece is satisfaction. Satiety, satisfaction, these words sound similar. They are similar. They have the same root word, sate. And I looked up the definition of this word years and years ago, and depending on which dictionary website you look at, the definition of the word sate is to the fullest. To the fullest. Satiety is nourished to the fullest. You're fully nourished all the way to the full, and your body says, thank you, put the fork down, we're done eating for a while. That's great. That's awesome. Satisfaction, as I interpret it, is enjoyed to the fullest. Enjoyed to the fullest. I want your meals to be satiating and satisfying. We can't have one without the other. I don't want satiety with no satisfaction. We have to have both. We have to go to the fullest. Now, I want to speak to this today from the perspective of sustainable fat loss. So Tina has lost a pant size in the last 6 months. I don't see any reason based on what she shared here why she will quit doing this. She's enjoying it. She's getting results. It feels nice. She's liking the food. She's getting the hang of it. It all clicked for her. It made sense. Doesn't seem like Tina's going to quit. We have to create some kind of system that not only works, but is utterly unquittable. When you think about sustainable weight loss, you've got to contemplate what would make me quit. The good news is you have precedent because you've probably quit lots of stuff before. You've probably quit almost everything before. I don't know about you, the you that I'm speaking to, but I do know all the yous that I have spoken to who have told me all the things they've tried, and they worked for a little while, but they weren't sustainable. And that is music to my ears because that is a clue. Why did you quit? I'm not saying you're a quitter. I'm saying something about that approach was too quittable for you. Why was it quittable? I always use keto as an example. People seem to have pretty good results with keto. There's a lot of really quick wins you get with like a ketogenic diet, for example. You might get some water weight loss, which feels very motivating. It immediately crushes cravings and appetite. So you feel like you're more in control of food. So like quote unquote food noise is very quiet on keto. People will say, I couldn't sustain it. And I'll say, oh, take me through why you couldn't sustain it. And I already know the answer. It's like something came up. Life got in the way. I went on vacation and I wanted to eat and avail myself of the cuisine of the place I was vacationing. And so I couldn't stay on my keto macros. I couldn't just keep eating bacon and steak. I wanted to eat other things. You wanted to eat other things. Of course you did. So keto wasn't sustainable because you wanted to eat other things. Tracking macros, something that I really hate. I just hate it with every fiber of my being. I will never do it again, quite frankly. And I don't think you should do it either. But you can if you want. You're a grown-ass adult. But it's like that worked for a while until I got freaking sick and tired of micromanaging my food to that extent. Like, I just don't think people want to do that. I know a few outliers that have done it for years. I have one acquaintance who's been tracking her macros for 30 years. She has her same meals weighed out. She still weighs it on the scale, even though she's done it for 30 years. And then she has her cheat meal on Saturdays and it works for her and she's into it. I just could never. I just could not do that. I don't want to weigh my food. I don't want to measure my food. I don't want to have that kind of overly fixated relationship on the math of food. And that's partly because of my disordered eating past and dieting past, which most of my clients also have come through. So I just want to mention that women that I work with are typically like me. We've done a lot of food micromanagement and body checking and obsession and kind of fixation, and we don't want to anymore. So for me, macro tracking is just a fixation I don't want to live with, and I won't do it. I can do it for 5 minutes. I can do it for a weekend, whatever. I'm just not going to persist with it. I will quit. So macro tracking equals very quittable for me. Meal plans are very quittable because I don't want somebody to tell me what to eat. There's a lot of things that are quittable. When I think about sustainability, I think about a couple things. First of all, how are we going to make a plan that feels so unquittable? When life gets in the way, how can you keep persisting? So now let's talk about life getting in the way. I definitely think your life should get in the way. I just fully encourage you to allow your life to get in the way of whatever eating strategy you're doing. And I'm a nutritionist, okay? I think food's pretty important, but I don't think it's the most important thing that you should be devoting all your mental energy to. I don't think that's true. And I get a lot of pushback from my peers who will say things like, if you have goals, you'll devote yourself to the appropriate measurement and action, consistency necessary. It's like, I do have goals. Maybe that you can relate to this. I want to feel great in my body. I want to fit everything in my closet. I want to age like a strong badass. I want my skin, my face to look cute. I want to look cute as I can. That's important to me. That's kind of it. I do have those goals. And I want to do all those without being a weird food obsessed crazy person. That's a goal of mine as well. So therefore, since that's a goal of mine is to be normal about food, I can't obsessively track my macros. It actually goes against my goals, sir. So I just want to validate that for many of us, we don't want to be fixated on consistency, metrics. It's not important to us. And I don't think it's normal. That's my bias. But life gets in the way, and it should. And I really do think it should. I think it's funny. I don't know. I chuckle to myself. Like, say I'm going to the airport, I'm going through security, and there's always somebody there who's got their whole day of eating in Tupperwares, like some bodybuilder type person who's brought their day of eating in a cooler bag. because they don't want to throw caution to the wind and eat an airport meal or something. And it's like, I'm really glad I don't feel compelled to do that. I actually look forward to my airport meal. I'm going to go have a steak and eggs before I get on this airplane and then just coast for my day of travel. I feel giddy with excitement that I don't have to do that. And maybe you do too. So if you align with that kind of thinking, like I want physical body composition changes, but I don't want to be weird about it, then you're in the right place. Your life must get in the way. We're not skipping vacations. We're not skipping the restaurant meal. We're not opting out of social connections and social moments in the spirit of staying on our diet. I just think that sounds too quittable. I also think it sounds insane, quite honestly. What I work on with my clients is let's go live our lives and figure out a way to plug food into it in a way that is going to encourage what Tina achieved here, which is some pretty effortless sounding fat loss. She said it was simple but not easy. I want to validate. The principles that I teach are very simple. There's 3 anchor actions that I teach. If you've been listening, you probably know what they are. Come back to the anchor actions. We can finesse them a lot, and the more consistently you execute them, the more outcomes you'll see. But when life gets squirrely, can you come back to these anchor actions and execute them to the best of your ability? Do they feel simple enough to execute when life gets in the way? I think when people say, like Tina said, it feels simple but not easy, the principles are simple, but change of any kind is not easy, which I want to talk about in a second. But first of all, I just think what's really useful is the anchor actions are simple enough to execute even when you get busy or tired or stressed out or sad or you're on vacation or whatever. And I can say this because I've been doing this for 15 years, and my life has gotten in the way many times in those 15 years. I think about, for example, when my mom passed away. That's just a good example, and I appreciate you sending warm condolence thoughts to me. She passed away 7 years ago of a heart attack, and so it was sudden, and I wasn't there. So I had to, it's already a big trauma to lose your mom. We all know that. It's a major, like one of the greatest sources of grief you'll ever experience is losing your mom. But I also wasn't there. I flew home after she died, and that was one of the biggest life upsets I've had so far in my life. I don't know. I guess I've had it pretty easy. That was tough though, right? And throws your whole world into a tailspin. The last thing you're thinking about when you're going home to write your mom's eulogy and be with your family during this time is your diet. If I imagine parallel universe Erin, who went home to be with her family after the sudden passing of my mom, but I have to make sure I have my ground turkey and my steamed broccoli. Like that doesn't compute. It's like, that's so crazy to think, what? No, I'm going to go into my life. And yes, I have to consume food. And yes, I still have these body composition health outcomes, these looking cute outcomes that I want. I still have all those same goals, but I'm actually front burnering using all my mental mind share on this grief in the moment that I need to devote all of my mind share to. I actually don't have any left to spend on caring about food. The thing is, though, when you have simple practices in play, they are simple to execute even in the context of life getting in the way. So for example, I believe in the epic breakfast, in case you didn't know. One of my 3 anchor actions is the epic breakfast. And it is, quite frankly, I would call it the preeminent anchor action. It's the big one. It's like, if nothing else, just do that. There's just so many wins to the epic breakfast. I've talked about this in previous episodes, so go hunt and peck for the epic breakfast episode. There are so many downstream wins of having an epic breakfast like the one Tina described. And I've practiced it enough. I have an unconscious competence of epic breakfast. Even in a moment of grief, I need a big meal. Now, in a moment of grief, your appetite changes. So you might have a lower appetite, which I did. And we honor appetite. That's another one of my foundational principles. One of my anchor actions is honoring appetite, answering hunger, eating to satiety. Just understand that hunger undulates. You have high hunger days, low hunger days, depending on what's going on, depending on life getting in the way. Life is in the way. And your brain is perceiving what your nutrient needs are based on the inputs you're providing. Grief is a strong input, a stress input. And during periods of stress, appetite diminishes. So anyway, understanding that during this period of grief, I didn't have much of an appetite, but when my appetite came back, I just knew what's really going to help me to be my best, to be at my best, to have my mental faculties and support my body through this period of stress and support my nervous system through this period of stress is my epic breakfast. And mercifully, I've practiced it so much over the years. I have an unconscious competence at consuming an epic breakfast to satiety, and I could do that. And did I have a lot of snack foods? And did I probably drink a little too much and cope in all the coping ways we cope? Stay up late, bad sleeps, crying, Was it a perfect week of health? The week I went home to be with my family? No. But I could execute an anchor action when life got in the way. In that way, I didn't quit when my mom died. I clung to an anchor action that I could execute until I came out of that moment of despair and life returned to normal. Because life will do that. Life will get in the way, then it will back off. It'll get in the way, then it'll back off. There's always these ebbs and flows. I would hope. I know some people have a lot more hardship in life. I don't want to downplay that. If you do, if you're undergoing a ton of stress right now, maybe you having made a career upheaval, a relationship upheaval, and maybe you've lost a loved one, and you have grief and you have struggle and stress and finances and relationships. Maybe you have it all going on. It's in those moments that coming back to an anchor action that supports your nervous system, send in a safe signal with food, especially during periods of stress if you can. This is one of the many, many downstream benefits of the Epic Breakfast. It is such a safety signal into the body. Like, hey, you know what? Life's crazy, but at least food's abundant, at least we got that. It's really, really crucial. And I contemplate metabolism to be one of the body's most biologically imperative systems. This is the fueling system of the body, the whole fueling nutrient partitioning system of the body. It's biologically imperative. We do have to try our best to send abundant signals into it so that we can just have a baseline of safety in our nervous system, which I think will really support you during periods of stress. So life is going to get in the way. What anchor actions can you hang on to during those periods so that you come out of it relatively unscathed? It's not like the keto person who goes to Mexico on the beach vacation and is no longer keto. Well, I was keto, but not anymore. We can't be doing that. We can't be throwing things away. But some things are very easy to throw away. We have to create something that's not easy to throw away. Something that we're burning the ships isn't even an option. Do you know what I mean? Number one factor in terms of making weight loss sustainable is making something that's unquittable. When I read Tina's comment, she's achieved a pant size of weight loss and more to come, because once we get that first pant size going, it's, we're off to the races, baby. But to me, the joy and the enjoyment that she expressed in this comment tells me that she's probably not going to quit. Now, that doesn't mean she's not going to hit a dip, which is the second thing I want to talk about, the dip. The dip is, first of all, a book written by an amazing author, Seth Godin. I love Seth Godin. If you've ever been in any kind of marketing realm, you probably know Seth Godin. You probably love him. My previous career before I started doing this was marketing and advertising, and I was specifically a copywriter. So Seth Godin to me is kind of a god. And, I have a business now, so I really like his thinking on marketing, but some of the stuff he says is so applicable to everything. And The Dip is one such book. Essentially, the dip is about knowing when to push through when it feels hard, knowing when and how to push through when it feels hard, and the benefit of pushing through when it feels hard. There's a couple different concepts that Seth Godin talks about in this book. He talks about how sometimes it's necessary to quit. So I just want to put that out there. This book is not about never quitting. It's about how to know when to quit something, but also how to persevere when you're simply in a dip. Because if you persevere through a dip, you actually level up. He refers to the dip as being the long slog between starting and mastery. So a minute ago, I talked about how I had achieved an unconscious competence at breakfast, such that when I went through one of the biggest periods of grief in my life, I'm still a breakfast eater. I have achieved unconscious competence of breakfast eating such that even in the hardest period of life, I eat breakfast. That's mastery. I have mastery over breakfast. I know it probably sounds crazy to talk about having mastery over breakfast, but let's just go with it, okay? Because that's what we're here to talk about, is having mastery over whatever eating plan you're following. I mentioned my acquaintance who's been eating ground turkey and steamed broccoli measured into Tupperware containers 7 meals a day. She's been doing that for 30 years. She's achieved mastery at tracking macros. And so that's why she's into it. She's like, it's so easy. I just measure all my food and then I just know I'm eating the right amounts, which sounds awful to me. But she's achieved mastery of it. So to her, it feels easy. She has an unconscious competence. You could achieve unconscious competence at tracking macros. I just don't think you're going to like it enough to get to that point. We have to, in order to get to mastery, we have to get through the long slog, the dips. Mastery is at the end of, I don't know, hundreds, thousands, I don't know how many dips. It's in getting out of the dips that we achieve mastery. And you can achieve mastery at anything. I want to make it feel easy as possible for you to get to the unconscious competence. So every meaningful goal in your life, whether it's weight loss, health improvement, building a business, building a family, getting the next rung on the corporate ladder, getting stronger, whatever it is, it always starts out exciting. Motivation is high. You might see some quick wins. It feels doable. you're invested, you've invested financially or emotionally or something. You're like, I'm all in, I'm doing the thing, but then things slow down. Always, always. Progress stalls, or it gets boring, or it feels hard, or it's inconvenient. That's the dip. It is the hard parts in the middle that weed out most people. That's when most people quit, when they get into the dip. It gets a little hard. They're like, I'm out. This didn't work. Enthusiasm fades. Breakthroughs feel miles away. It's where everybody wants to quit. But if you can persevere out of the dip, like I don't have any hack to get you out of the dip, by the way. Let's say you're on my weight loss program and you hit a dip, which my clients always do. Hello, it's a 6-month weight loss program. We're going to hit so many dips, your head will spin. That's the whole reason it's a 6-month weight loss program, because we got to go through the dips. And I say to my clients, when you're in the dip, I need to hear from you. Come on in to the coaching call, name and tame the dip. Say, I'm in a dip. Everything sucks. I hate this. I want to quit. It's not working. I'm discouraged. Come on in, name and tame the dip. I don't have a solution for the dip. I'm going to say to you, okay, what anchor action can you just basically persevere with here? Is it breakfast? Is it the funnel? What is this, an evening wind down? Is there something that you can do in the meantime? One thing, what one thing can you commit to right now just to lay down that foundational anchor action while we basically wait for you to come out of the dip? Because if you come out of the dip, you've just reached a next level. You've become the kind of person who perseveres when it gets hard and doesn't quit. And that's a skill. That is a skill you've developed. That is an identity shift you're in the process of. The dip is a little valley. It's just a valley of despair. And you know how valleys are? They're kind of plateau-ish. Plateau, there's a word you hear often in the old weight loss space. Could it be that a plateau is simply a dip? Yes. It's a valley of despair. It's a valley on the way to another hill. I mean, valleys only exist because hills exist. Don't forget. Don't forget, the other side of a valley is another hill. You're on your way to something great. If you can just push through, persevere. To me, it's just this idea of persevering. There's no hack to launch you out of the dip. There's nothing. I don't have a hack for you. You have to just like show up, persevere, and then up, you're out of the dip. You come out stronger and better and ahead of your old self, quite frankly. You just learned, you just strengthened a muscle. You just strengthened your dip muscle. Struggle isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're in the dip. And as far as I'm concerned, dip's gonna dip. Dip's gonna dip. You're gonna hit so many dips on any journey to greatness or whatever, betterness. Doesn't have to be greatness. Any journey to betterness, you're gonna run into the dip. If your goal is worth it and you want it, and you have good techniques to persevere through the dip, then the dip is absolutely worth persevering through because it's where transformation happens. Transformation doesn't happen when it's easy. Not to sound Tony Robbins on you here, but it is in coming out of the hard times that we get better. By the way, I shared this with my clients. We were literally talking about dips today in the coaching call because some of the gals are in the dip. And I'm really realistic in these coaching calls. It's like, all right, you're in a dip. Dips suck. So what can you do to just persevere? What I said to them was, you're going to think I sound crazy, but I'm at the point now where I get excited when I'm in the dip because I know that my next level is on the other side of it. I know that sounds so cheesy, but when I feel myself in a dip, I've just become, I've sort of achieved competence at recognizing my own dips. I'll say, okay, I'm in a dip. This objectively sucks. But the good news is whenever I come out of this, and I don't know when that'll be, don't know, no idea, can't predict it. When I come out of this, I know I'm going to feel freaking amazing. I know I am. And by the way, right now as I'm recording this, I just came out of a dip. I was in a real dip. I was like, I'm pasty, I'm stupid, nobody likes me, I'm gross. It's like I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh man, I feel chunky, I feel thick, I feel pasty, my skin's bad, my hair's bad, nobody loves me, I'm dumb, my business is a failure, I'm a failure. Like right now, as I'm recording this, I'm on the up. I came out of my dip like a freaking gangster. I feel so good about myself today. Nothing could knock me down today. I'm on the hill on the other side of this valley of despair. I'm on a big hill. And I'm going to be on this hill until, guess what? I hit another dip. It's coming. It's going to come and I know it. And I'm at the point now where I can get a little excited about being in the dip. Like I'll just name it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a dip. Amazing. I can't wait to see what happens on the other side of this dip. You can get there too. But I just want to validate that everything I just said in the last 2 minutes sounded so cheesy. It does. I totally get it. I'm not here to Tony Robbins you, but I think you can learn to be better at dips. And if you did, oh my God, you're off to the races. This is unquittable. Now, I think what you have to do is just put in enough time and go through enough dips. It just takes reps. Getting out of the dip is a muscle. You got to strengthen it through practice, through reps. The dip is where transformation happens. Transformation doesn't happen when it's easy. Transformation happens when it's hard. When it's hard, if you quit, you don't get the transformation. When it's hard, if you persevere, you get the transformation, and that's what you want. So, what does the dip feel like on a weight loss goal? It feels like frustration, discouragement, or this isn't working. I want to see results. I'm not seeing the results I want. I thought I was, but now I'm not. That's often what my clients will say. It's like, I thought I was seeing results, but now I don't think I am. I think I lost all my results. No, you're in the dip. The dip is where most people quit, and it feels easy to quit, and you want to quit. But if you keep showing up with the right inputs, you'll be one of the few who makes it through the dip. And that's what's going to give you sustainable outcomes. To summarize, we want fat loss. We want to feel great in our bodies, great in our clothes, confident in our clothes, comfortable in our skin. We want to take the pictures. We want to go on the beach vacation. We want all this stuff. So we have to work on weight loss, and we would ideally like it to stick around. We want sustainable weight loss. In order to have sustainable weight loss, we have to create something that is unquittable, that factors your life into it so life isn't getting in the way, and helps you persevere through the dips, because on the other side of the dip is where the sustainable transformation lives.